Xbox One. Xbox One is a line of home video game consoles developed by Microsoft. Announced in May 2013. It is the successor to Xbox 360 and the third console in the Xbox family. It was first released in North America, parts of Europe, Australia, and Brazil in November 2013, and in Japan, China, and other European countries in September 2014. It is the first Xbox game console to be released in China, specifically in the Shanghai Free-Trade Zone. Microsoft marketed the device as an all-in-one entertainment system. The Xbox One line mainly competes against consoles such as Sony's PlayStation 4 and Nintendo's Wii U as a part of the 8th generation of video game consoles, moving away from its predecessor's PowerPC-based architecture. Xbox One marks a shift back to the x86 architecture used in the original Xbox. It features an AMD Accelerated Processing Unit built around the x86-64 instruction set. Xbox One's controller was redesigned over the Xbox 360's, with a redesigned body, D-pad, and triggers capable of delivering directional haptic feedback. The console places an increased emphasis on cloud computing, as well as social networking features, and the ability to record and share video clips or screenshots from gameplay, or live stream directly to streaming services such as Mixer and Twitch. Games can also be played off console via a local area network on supported Windows 10 devices. The console can play Blu-ray disc and overlay live television programming from an existing set-top box or a digital tuner for digital terrestrial television with an enhanced program guide. The console optionally included a redesigned Kinect sensor, marketed as the Kinect 2.0, providing improved motion tracking and voice recognition for use in its graphical user interface and games. Xbox One received mostly positive reception for its refined controller design, multimedia features, and voice navigation. Its quieter and cooler design was praised for making the console more reliable than its predecessor on launch. But the console was generally criticized for running games at a technically lower graphical level than the PlayStation 4. Its original user interface was panned for being non-intuitive, although changes made to it and other aspects of the console's software post-launch received positive reception. Its Kinect received praise for its improved motion tracking accuracy, its face recognition logins, and its voice commands. In August 2016, Microsoft released a refreshed Xbox One model known as Xbox One S. It has a streamlined design, native support for 4K video playback and upscaling, and HDR10 high dynamic range color. It was praised for its smaller size, its on-screen visual improvements, and its lack of an external power supply. But its regressions such as the lack of a native Kinect port were noted. A hardware revision known as Xbox One X was unveiled in June 2017, after being teased in 2016, with the name of Project Scorpio. It features major hardware upgrades focused on enabling 4K gameplay, and will be backward compatible with all existing Xbox One software and hardware. It is set for release in November 2017. History. E-model, Alt Xbox One on display at E3 2013. Xbox One is the successor to Xbox 360, Microsoft's previous video game console, which was introduced in 2005 as part of the 7th generation of video game consoles. Over the years, the 360 had received a number of small hardware revisions to reduce the unit's size and improve its reliability. In 2010, Microsoft's Chris Lewis stated that the 360 was about halfway through its life cycle. This was aided by the introduction of the Kinect motion sensor that year, which Lewis stated would extend the life cycle by 5 years. Initial hardware for the 360's successor, commonly referred to by the industry as the Xbox 720, was reportedly under development as early as May 2011. The official developer kit was codenamed Durango, and appeared to be available to developers by mid-2012. Leaked documents suggested that the new console would include an improved Kinect sensor, cloud access to games and media, integration with phone and tablet devices, and technology to provide players heads-up displays on glasses worn by the player. Codenamed Fortaleza, Microsoft did not comment on these reported features. Leaked design documents also suggested that Microsoft was seeking to eliminate the ability to play used games, though Microsoft later clarified it was still reviewing the design, and were thinking about what is next, and how we can push the boundaries of technology like we did with Kinect, but did not comment on the validity of the information. The console was publicly unveiled under the name Xbox One on May 21, 2013 in a press conference designed to cover the unit's broad multimedia and social capabilities. A second press event for the console was held during E3 2013, focusing on its video game-oriented functionality. At that time, Microsoft announced that the console would be released in 21 different markets on November 22, 2013, but this was later amended down to 13. The change, which pushed the release date for the other 8 markets to 2014, was attributed to unforeseen complexity in localizing the device's voice recognition capabilities. Later, in September 2014, the Xbox One was released in 26 markets, including remaining markets in Europe, the Japanese market, and Middle Eastern markets. From the first announcement to the actual launch of the product, Microsoft made some significant changes to the console. Initially, the system was to be able to play a disc-based game without the disc after the initial install. However, this came with a requirement that the users would have to connect online once per day, as well as restrictions on used games. These policies were reversed in June 2013. In 2015, 4 members of an international hacking group pleaded guilty to gaining unauthorized access to Microsoft's computer network and obtaining sensitive information relating to Xbox One and Xbox Live. At the time of the security breach, Microsoft was in the development stage for its next-generation gaming system. Between 2011 and 2013, the hackers spent hundreds of hours searching through Microsoft's network, copying login credentials, source code, technical specifications and other data. Group members say they were driven by an immense curiosity about Microsoft's then unreleased Xbox One console and associated software, using stolen access credentials. 2 of the hackers also committed a physical theft by entering a secure building on Microsoft's Redmond, Washington campus and carrying away 3 Durango development kits. Design. The original Xbox One's exterior casing consists of a 2-tone, liquid black finish, with half finished in a matte gray, and the other in a glossier black. The matte side of the top of the console consists of a large air vent. The design was intended to evoke a more entertainment-oriented and simplified look than previous iterations of the console. Among other changes, the LED rings used by Xbox 360 are replaced by a glowing white Xbox logo used to communicate the system's status to the user. Due to the overall ventilation design of the console, the original Xbox One is designed to only sit horizontally. Internals. Xbox One is powered by an AMD Jaguar Accelerated Processing Unit with 2 quad-core modules totaling 8 x86 64 cores clocked at 1.75 GHz. and 8 GB of DDR3 RAM with a memory bandwidth of 68.3 GB per second. The memory subsystem also features an additional 32 MB of embedded static RAM, or ESRAM, with a memory bandwidth of 109 GB per second, for simultaneous read and write operations. The ESRAM is capable of a theoretical memory bandwidth of 192 GB per second, and that a memory bandwidth of 133 GB per second has been achieved, with operations that involved alpha transparency blending. The system includes a non-replaceable hard drive and a Blu-ray disc optical drive. 138 GB of hard drive space is used by the operating system, with the remainder available for the storage of games. Since the June 2014 software update, up to 2 USB drives can be connected to Xbox One to expand its capacity. External drives must support USB 3.0 and have a capacity of at least 256 GB. It was reported that 3 GB of RAM would be reserved for the operating system and utility software, leaving 5 GB for games, with DirectX 11.2 as the console's API. The graphics processing unit is based on an AMD GCN architecture with 12 compute units, which have a total of 768 cores running at 853 MHz, providing an estimated peak theoretical power of 1.31 TFLOPS. For networking, Xbox One supports Gigabit Ethernet, 802.11n wireless, and Wi-Fi Direct. Xbox One supports 4K resolution video output and 7.1 surround sound. Yusuf Mehdi, Corporate Vice President of Marketing and Strategy for Microsoft, has stated that there is no hardware restriction that would prevent games from running at 4K resolution. Unlike the Xbox 360, the Xbox One does not support 1080i and other interlaced resolutions. Xbox One supports HDMI 1.4 for both input and output, and does not support composite-to-component video. The console can monitor its internal temperature and adjust accordingly to prevent overheating. Alongside increasing fan speed, additional measures can be taken, including forcing the hardware to run in a lower power state, a feature that was not present on Xbox 360. Restricting power consumption lowers maximum performance, but the setting would be intended as a last resort to prevent permanent hardware damage. Controller. Featuring 2 unique pairs of analog sticks, a new D-pad, and 2 differently sized pairs of paddles, the Xbox One's controller maintains the overall layout found in the Xbox 360's controller, but with various refinements to its form. Among its changes include a smoother form, textured analog sticks, a 4-way directional pad, and redesigned triggers and shoulder buttons with a curved shape for ergonomics. Menu and View buttons have replaced the start and back buttons. Each trigger features independent rumble motors called impulse triggers, which allows developers to program directional vibration. One trigger can be made to vibrate when firing a gun, or both can work together to create feedback that indicates the direction of an incoming hit. The controller also contains light emitters that allow it to be tracked and paired using the Kinect sensor, and to detect when it's not being held to automatically enter a low power state. An updated revision of the controller was released in June 2015, which includes a 3.5mm headphone jack and other minor changes. The Xbox One controller includes a micro USB port. When attached via a micro USB cable, the controller can operate without battery power and can charge remotely, and is supported on computers running Windows 7 or later with drivers. The Xbox One wireless adapter accessory allows wireless use of Xbox One controllers on Windows computers also running Windows 7 or later. The Elite Wireless Controller, or just Elite Controller, was released in October 2015. It was described and marketed as an elite controller for the elite gamer, containing interchangeable parts, hair trigger locks for the triggers that allow users to reduce the amount of distance they must be pressed to register a press, and software for remapping buttons. Kinect 2.0 sensor is more accurate than its predecessor. The Kinect 2.0 is a black rectangular motion tracking device with one camera on the left. The Kinect 2.0, an updated natural user interface sensor, was redesigned and recreated to provide motion tracking and voice commands for the Xbox One. Kinect 2.0 features a wide-angle time-of-flight camera and a 1080p camera, in comparison to the VGA resolution of the Xbox 360 version, and processes 2 GB of data per second to map its environment. Kinect 2.0 has an improved accuracy over its predecessor. It can track up to 6 people simultaneously, referred to as skeletons, perform heart rate tracking, track controller gestures, and read QR codes to redeem Xbox Live gift cards. By default, voice recognition is active at all times, so the console can receive voice commands from the user, even when the console is in sleep mode. It is possible to wake the console with a command, although settings are available to change which individual Kinect functions are active. Prior to and after the mandate, all Xbox One consoles initially shipped with the Kinect sensor included. On June 9, 2014, cheaper Xbox One bundles were introduced, which did not include the Kinect sensor. Microsoft stated the decision to offer Xbox One bundles without Kinect was to offer a choice to people that would allow people to buy an Xbox One and then ramp up to Kinect when they can afford to, while also allowing games to use processing power that was previously reserved for Kinect. An updated Xbox development kit issued in June 2014 allows developers to explicitly disable motion tracking functionality in games, allowing access to additional system resources that represent about 10% of the GPU processing power. These resources were previously reserved for Kinect skeletal tracking, regardless of whether the Kinect sensor was attached or in use. A Windows-compatible Kinect 2.0 was released on July 15, 2014. Kinect 2.0 was released as a standalone and optional item in October 2014. It is bundled with a digital copy of Dance Central Spotlight. Software and services. Xbox One runs 2 operating systems within a hypervisor. Games run within one separate operating system, while apps and the user interface run within a stripped-down version of Microsoft Windows. The original system software was based on Windows 8, but it has since been changed to Windows 10. This architecture allows resources to be allocated specifically to different aspects of the console's functions, including multitasking and Kinect processing, ensuring an absolute guarantee of performance for games. Xbox One supports universal Windows platform apps, which can be designed to run across Xbox One, Windows 10, and Windows 10 Mobile in synchronization with the Windows platform. Xbox One's user interface is modeled on Metro design language. The dashboard is divided into Home, Community, One Guide, and Store sections. Pressing the Xbox Guide button opens a sidebar with access to common functions such as the Friends list, apps for the user's party, and settings. Users can go back to the dashboard while using games. or apps using either the Xbox button on their controller or a voice command. Up to 4 apps can run at once, but only one game can run at a time. Use of Kinect enables the ability to control the console via voice commands. Xbox One's voice control capabilities are similar to, albeit richer than those of Xbox 360. The voice assistant Cortana was added in 2016 to provide expanded voice command functionality. With natural language recognition, motion control support was also available on the dashboard. With Kinect, as well as the ability to snap applications to the side of the screen for multitasking. However, these features have since been removed. The dashboard originally used a layout similar to Windows 8's Start screen, with a horizontal scrolling, tile-based interface. This design was replaced for Xbox Preview program members in September 2015 with the current interface, known as the new Xbox One Experience, which was publicly released as part of the November 12, 2015 system update. Multimedia features. The Xbox One can view and play content from DLNA servers and USB storage devices using the Media Player app. An application allows playback of video from Blu-ray disc, DVD and CD media. The console provides the ability to feed live television by serving as an HDMI pass-through for an existing television provider's set-top box, or an optional digital TV tuner accessory that allows use of digital terrestrial television. The console provides its own electronic program guide known as One Guide, augmenting the existing streaming functionality to provide show recommendations based on viewing history, integrated access to app channels corresponding to online video services, and voice control via Kinect. The set-top box and television are controlled by One Guide using an IR blaster. The Xbox One does not provide full DVR functionality for recording television programs. Executive Yusuf Mehdi indicated that the console would work in tandem with existing television services, but that Microsoft would need to work with them directly to provide extended functionality, such as DVR integration. The digital TV tuner accessory allows limited DVR functionality for pausing and rewinding live TV for up to 30 minutes. In June 2016, Microsoft announced that their plans for full DVR functionality for the Xbox One were on hold. Xbox Live. The Xbox Live service has been scaled up to use 300,000 servers for Xbox One users. Cloud storage is available to save music, films, games and saved content. And developers are able to use Live service to offer dynamic in-game content and other functionality. Users can have up to 1,000 friends. The December 2016 software update added the new social networking feature Clubs, which allows users to join groups focused on specific interests or games, and looking for group, a system to help users locate players to join the party for multiplayer play. Players can use the Upload Studio app to edit and share clips from the last 5 minutes of gameplay footage that is automatically recorded by the console. Games can also be developed so that recording can automatically be triggered in response to notable events, such as achievements. Xbox One supports streaming directly to the service's Mixer and Twitch. Users can use voice commands to immediately begin streaming footage of their current game directly to the service, and use Kinect's camera and microphone to record video and audio narration. Users can feature recorded clips on their Xbox Live profile page in a Showcase section. As with Xbox 360, premium online features such as multiplayer, voice communication, broadcasting, and Upload Studio require an Xbox Live Gold subscription to use. Unlike Xbox 360, a user's Xbox Live Gold subscription benefits apply to all other users of their designated home console as well, rather than requiring a separate subscription for each user. Since June 2014, applications no longer require an Xbox Live Gold membership to use additional subscriptions. For outside services such as Netflix may still be required. Microsoft also extended its games with Gold program to Xbox One, providing free Xbox 360 and Xbox One games to Xbox Live Gold subscribers on a monthly basis. Second screen and streaming. The Xbox Smart Glass app provides extended functionality on Xbox One, allowing devices running Windows Phone, Windows 8, iOS and Android to be used as a companion device. For Xbox One, features such as powering on the console, a remote control, accessing messages and the activity feed, purchasing content, and providing integration with certain games and content. The Smart Glass app can also be used to stream live television to Android and Windows devices if the console is using a USB digital television tuner. On Windows 10, Smart Glass is succeeded by the Xbox app, which supports the local streaming of games from Xbox One to personal computers and tablets running Windows 10. An Xbox One controller must be used, but Windows-compatible headsets and microphones can be used for voice chat. Games requiring Kinect are not supported, while game DVR and online streaming are not available while using this functionality. Per a partnership with Oculus VR, users will also be able to stream Xbox One games to the Oculus Rift virtual reality headset by means of Xbox app for Windows 10. As of 2015, there were no immediate plans for direct integration between Xbox One and Oculus Rift. Games. Xbox One games are distributed at retail on Blu-ray disc and digitally as downloads through Xbox Game Store. All Xbox One games must be installed to the console's storage. Users can begin to play portions of a game once the installation or download reaches a specific point, while the remainder of the game is downloaded or installed in the background. Updates to games and system software are also downloaded in the background and while in standby. If the game is installed from physical media, the disc is still required for validation purposes. If the game is installed on another console, and the console owner no longer has access to the disc, the owner has the option of unlocking the install on the hard drive by purchasing it through Xbox Live. The installed game then acts as a game installed on the hard drive. An active internet connection may be required for some games, particularly those that integrate cloud computing. Microsoft released its program in 2015. Similar to Steam Early Access, it lets developers launch unfinished games for consumers to purchase and beta test before its official launch. Backward compatibility. With Select altered the original Xbox 360 model with an Xbox 360 controller at its launch. The Xbox One did not have native backward compatibility with original Xbox or Xbox 360 games. Senior Project Management and Planning Director Albert Panello explained that Microsoft was initially considering a cloud gaming platform to enable backward compatibility, but he felt it would be problematic due to varying internet connection qualities. Xbox Live Director of Programming Larry Major Nelson HRYB did state that users could theoretically use the HDMI input on the console to pass an Xbox 360 through Xbox One. This process does generate a small amount of unnoticeable out the Xbox console With a controller S, Xbox 360 backward compatibility uses a software emulator within the system. Software. 104 Xbox 360 titles were supported at the feature's public launch, with more to be added in the following months. Xbox 360 games contained within Rare Replay are packaged as standalone applications using the Xbox 360 emulation. Microsoft stated that publishers would only need to provide permission to the company to allow the repackaging, and it expected the number of supported games to increase significantly over time. Microsoft, along with 14 other third-party publishers, will offer supported games and/or games with gold titles on Xbox 360 since November 2015 are made compatible. Xbox division head Phil Spencer has also hinted the possibility of adding support for games from the original Xbox, but Microsoft is focusing on Xbox 360 compatibility first. On June 11, 2017, Microsoft announced that there will be backwards compatibility for the original Xbox. Post-unveiling 2013. After the official unveiling of Xbox One in May 2013, the editorial staff of Game Informer offered both praise and criticism for the console. Matt Helgeson described the console as Microsoft's intent to control the living room. He called Xbox One's instant switching features impressive, and that the console was a step in the right direction with regards to TV entertainment, especially the prospect of avoiding the usage of non-intuitive user interfaces often found on cable set-top boxes. Jeff Cork said that Microsoft had some great ideas for the console, but that it failed to properly communicate them. DRM controversy, E3 2013. Microsoft initially announced a different game licensing scheme for Xbox One than what was used upon its release. All games, including those purchased at retail, would be bound to the user's Xbox Live account. Users could access their purchased games from any other Xbox One console, play games without their disc once installed, and allow users to share their games with up to 10 designated family members. Users would trade games at participating retailers, and could also transfer a game directly to any Xbox Live friend on their list for at least 30 days, but only once. To synchronize licenses, the console would be required to connect to the internet once every 24 hours. If the console could not connect, all games would be disabled until the console was connected again. Reaction to this digital rights management scheme was extremely negative. Critics felt that the changes would infringe on consumers' first sale rights for games purchased on physical media, as games would only be licensed to users rather than sold, and the disc itself would only be used to install the game and not confer ownership of its license or permission to resell. Microsoft also stated that publishers could impose restrictions or activation fees on second-hand copies of games. Xbox Chief Marketing and Strategy Officer Yusuf Mehdi explained that the system was built with digital distribution in mind, but that Microsoft wanted to maintain the availability of games on physical media. He also noted that Microsoft was not giving in to publishers' objections to used games, but rather trying to balance the needs of consumers and the industry, and that the trading and sharing abilities of the platform added a level of flexibility not seen on other online distribution platforms at the time. Microsoft's E3 press conference on June 10, 2013, was also criticized for focusing too much on games that, beyond increased graphical capabilities, provided experiences that were otherwise similar to previous generation games, giving little incentive for buying the new console. After Sony's E3 press conference later that evening, GameSpot editor Tom McShay went on to say that Microsoft had become anti-consumerist, trying to punish the loyal customers with strict restrictions, and that, by saying no to the used game restrictions and always online that Microsoft is so happily implementing on the Xbox One, Sony has elevated the PlayStation 4 as the console to grab this holiday season. Rafi Mohammed, author of The Art of Pricing, felt that Microsoft priced Xbox One too high, and that the $100 premium over its competitor could derail the system during the 2013 holiday season. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.